But sounds good. Should be a short show for the main show.
For the main show, sure. We're trying to find things always to pad it out. It's not like to pad it out per se, but it's just to give everyone more bang for their buck, for their free podcast listening dollar,
Right. We don't want to just get in, get out, bada bing, bada boom. You want to put some meat on that bone.
That's right. And, listen, bandwidth costs money, whether you're paying for the Wi-Fi or stealing somebody else's Wi-Fi or whatever.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer in stealing Wi-Fi.
I see there's buses that run down here in my neck of the woods that say they have Wi-Fi on the bus.
So do the Scranton buses, like the local.
Yeah.
But
so I was thinking, like, who's the person who just rides the bus all day just so they could steal the free Wi-Fi?
Your son, back when he had to pay for it whenever he went over, remember?
Yeah.
You gave him the warning. But what ticks me off, too, is when I'm a coward and I won't drive into New York.
That's true.
And we go on the buses. The buses used to have free Wi-Fi. Now they don't even have Wi-Fi that I know. Like, you can't, like, I'm not saying you can buy it, but there used to be, like, on the front of the bus, like, connect to bus 801A, and that's the official Wi-Fi, and just press, agree. And you'd have and when we went to New York the last couple of times, we tried, because I brought my Kindle along so I could watch, like, HBO Max or whatever, make the 2 hours pass by. And they're like, no more. Screw you.
I know Knoebels has free Wi-Fi, and in years past, it was much easier to get into.
Right.
Now you have to, like, log onto this weird third-party site and create an account and stuff.
Put in your social security number.
Yeah, I don't know. And so I go, you know what? I'm paying for the internet anyway, so I'm going to use the goddamn internet. I'm not going to jump through all these hoops for the Wi-Fi, right?
No, I get you.
Yeah.
My phone's about to... I'm about to pay off my phone on the plan, so my phone's probably going to drop like $8 a month.
Right.
Because it's whatever. Like, I put some money down on it, and now, that's like whatever was left over is up. So that means it's whatever the payment is close to like whatever unlimited Wi-Fi or unlimited data would be for my phone.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I get rid of that, then I don't even notice the difference of the bill. You know what I mean? So I might go full data, unlimited data, and be like a big boy. So
if you're in the market for a new phone, one that takes really good pictures, not that I could tell the difference between the one they post,
right,
from a week ago to now.
I'm afraid to change my phone though, because the guy who does those beautiful scans of previewing the past borrows my phone for those, and I'm afraid of what might change if I get a new phone. So he might have to bang out all those previews before I get a new phone.
Gotcha.
I like the program.
So how was your week? How was your week since we last talked? Did you enjoy Halloween Ends?
I didn't go, but I did have somebody send me screen caps of certain shots in the movie.
Right.
Because they said, I know there's no fucking way you're watching this movie.
Right.
So here they are. I was like, okay, thanks.
So I feel a little bit bad for our friend that's in the movie, right?
Right, because all you guys were running the movie down.
Was I running the movie down?
Well, I don't know about you. I just thought it was horror fans in general, but a lot of people I know. So
yeah, no, I've so it's real funny. It's getting like horrible reviews, right? It's just getting panned. It's getting raked through the mud, right?
Right.
And I assume it would probably get at least like 2 or 3 more Rotten Tomato points if that person wasn't in the movie.
Okay, yeah.
And he listens to this show, so that's why I'm saying it this way.
Oh, gentle ribbing, but go ahead.
But I feel bad for the people that were like super excited for it and were let down.
Yeah.
There's a friend of mine, and again, listen, I'm not a name dropper, but I'll just say it's a friend of mine who wrestles on national TV, who wore the Halloween T-shirt on TV this past Friday night. Because
was it Sad Scotty Flamingo?
No.
Okay.
It's sad. They don't let him on TV. He doesn't look that good anymore, you know?
I know he was famous for T-shirts, so but anyway,
right. But this guy wore the Halloween T-shirt on TV Friday night. He was that pumped for the show, right?
Right.
And then since then, like all of his Facebook and social media posts are like, guys, Halloween Ends is like the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my God.
You don't understand how like crushed I am. He goes, people hate, like, I loved it. Like, Joe, I liked the first one, like, of this, like, new trilogy, right?
Right.
And then the second one I didn't see, because it, like, came out, like, during the pandemic-y time, right? Even though, like, I could watch it at home free on Peacock.
Okay.
But it didn't get a ton of good reviews, and I'm just like, all right, I'll pass. And then, like, the third one, I'm like, and then I hear there's a recap at the beginning of the third one, which is very funny.
Okay.
But this person's like, yeah, I like the first one. He goes, I'm one of the few people that even like the second one. And he goes, this movie was just so bad. He goes, like, it's literally, it's ruined my week. That's how bad this movie is.
Oh my God, I'm on major TV and my week's ruined.
Right.
But here's all my reviews of the Halloween movies that I saw. Back in the day, I saw the first and second one with Jamie Lee Curtis, like the original 70s one. I thought they were okay. I'm not a horror guy, but one of the greatest movie themes in, movie history. Iconic, yes. So then I did see the Rob Zombie remake, and I really like that. Don't care what anybody says. There's one of my favorite scenes where the guy says, bitch, if you don't think I'm keeping a mental record of everything you do wrong. I was like, this movie is so stupid. I love it. That being said, those are all the Michael Myers Halloween movies I've seen, but my favorite Halloween movie might be 3 of the original movies, Joe.
Yeah.
I love 3 because I remember my friends being big horror fans, and they're like, okay, I watched Halloween 2 for the, blah, blah, blah. And then 3, I was like, what is this? Like, when is Michael Myers showing up? And when it was over, like the way it ended, they didn't shut down the last thing. And I'm like, this is really good. I don't know why everybody, like, at the time hated the movie because they thought, Michael Myers, but I think it's gained some traction since.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's gotten like a new unappreciated love, I would say, within the last like 10 years or so, like even more so in the last 5 years.
Right.
I wouldn't say I loved it, but I definitely was one of those people who was watching it when it came out. Like I would have been like 10 or 11 when it came out. And I was like, I want more Michael Myers. And then more Michael Myers movies came out, and they were all really bad. Like 4, 5, and 6 are really bad.
Right.
Even though 6 is very funny because... and again, I know you're not a big horror movie guy, right?
Right.
So in those movies, you're Freddy, you're Jason, you're Michael Myers. Always in the 6th one, they take like this weird, so in the 6th one for Jason, not so much. So I guess they take a weird left turn, but it's like a good left turn.
6 was the one with the Alice Cooper soundtrack. So
yeah,
that's why I know that one. I've seen that one.
So
and I've seen 8, but go ahead.
That's the one, like, right, so 8 of Friday the 13th is the 6 of all the other ones, right?
Is that Manhattan?
Yes.
Great movie. When he punches his head across town is fantastic.
So, no, maybe 9, because, okay, so Jason 6, or Friday the 13th 6, Jason Lives, they just come back, it's like, oh, we need to make sure Jason's dead. We open up his coffin, we open up his tomb, his grave, or whatever it is. He gets struck by lightning, and that's the beginning of Zombie Jason, right?
Mm-hmm.
The franchise takes a left turn from where it was before, where it was just a crazy guy in a mask who was seemingly unkillable, right? Until they kill him at the end of part 4. Part 5 is a dream. Spoilers, everyone. And then 6. What?
I thought, wasn't it one of, like, wasn't somebody possessed by the mask?
No, that's what they had you believe, but it was like all a dream.
Okay, and wasn't it one of, who was the actor?
5, nobody's in 5.
Oh, I thought it was one of, who were the 2 kids in The Lost Boys, the Frog Brothers?
Corey Feldman is in 4.
Okay, I thought Corey Haim was in 5.
No.
Okay, but anyway, go ahead.
I think it's a Corey Haim lookalike, which is about as low as you can get.
Right.
So 6, they take the left turn on Friday the 13th. Jason's now like an unkillable zombie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then in 6 on Nightmare on Elm Street, That's the one where it's in 3D. It's loaded up with cameos in it. Like Johnny Depp is in it after because he was in one and now he's a star. Roseanne and Tom Arnold are in it. Alice Cooper plays Freddy's abusive father. And then they add this whole new wrinkle that the way that Freddy was able to come back was that he sold his soul to these like 3 dream demons.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's just like, okay, left turn, whatever. So then in Halloween 6, starring Paul Rudd.
Really?
Yes. Outside of a Super Nintendo commercial, this was like his first acting role.
Okay.
And he's like the lead. It's like him, Donald Pleasance, and like whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So they add in this whole story of the reason that Michael keeps coming back is that there's this cult with these magic runes that they keep doing rituals to bring Michael back to life.
Right. They were born to ruin.
Yes. So it's 6 where they all take these weird left turns, right? So getting back to 3, so I'm like, I want more Michael Myers. 4, 5, and 6 come out, and they're all terrible. And I'm like, oh, let me go back and watch 3 again. And I got a new appreciation for 3, like in the like mid to late 90s, and then like more and more stuff comes out. But yeah, 3 is actually really good, you know?
Yep.
But it was like, if 1 wasn't so successful, the idea was supposed to be like every year it was just going to be a movie called Halloween, and it would be a different thing.
Right, it would be kind of centered around Halloween or something like that. So
yeah,
and that's what I remember hearing, to tell you the truth. But like you said, it was so big. They were like, we want more of that. And then by 2, he had enough like stroke to be like, we're going the way I want now. You know what I mean? So
and I can't remember his name right now. But the writer director who did Porky's and Christmas Story.
Right. And Christmas Story's getting a sequel, by the way.
I saw that, and it's starring Peter Billingsley too.
And it angers me.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. I see the trailer come up, mm-hmm. and I know that it exists, and I sit there and I'm like, do I want to watch this trailer? Like how is this trailer going to make me feel? And the thought is not good, right?
Just to talk about that for a second, we can go back. The trailer isn't anything other than just shots of the old movie. Okay. And then modern day Peter Billingsley puts on those Harry Potter glasses.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the trailer. So it's all like nostalgia. So, but anyway.
So, and I feel bad because I can't remember the guy's name. It's something Black, right?
Right. Shane Black?
No, it's not Shane Black. It's something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he did Porky's, he did Christmas Story, but before all of those things, he did a movie called Black Christmas.
I remember that one.
Right. I think Margot Kidder's in it, maybe?
Maybe, but it's Bob Clark, by the way.
Bob Clark. There you go. I was so close. So Bob Clark, he does Black Christmas, and it doesn't do well, and that's what gives John Carpenter the idea. It's like, well, you can't put a horror movie out at Christmas. You got to put a horror movie out at Halloween, and that's where Halloween comes from. And if Black Christmas was successful, it was going to be a series of Christmas-themed horror movies that come out every year at Christmas.
Oh, I can't wait for the St. Swithin's Day horror series, Joe.
Yeah.
I would love that, but that's pretty good. See, I learn something new every day.
Yeah, listen, this is not unlike At Odds with Wrestling being a lifestyle podcast. Mm-hmm. Longbox Heroes After Dark is an educational podcast.
Right. And speaking of wrestling, I would like to say this because people called me out on Twitter today as we record this.
Yeah.
About the Jervis Cotton Belly modified sleeper hold, Joe.
Yeah.
That was not something I had to look up. I just want to set the record straight because I was, like I said, at King of C3POs that one night with you. And here's the 3 things I remember. The Jervis Cotton Belly modified sleeper hold, which cracked me up to no end, Joe.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, if somebody was trying to get Todd into wrestling, the like grabbing somebody and rocking him like a baby as a sleeper hold, that's the way to do it. The second thing I remember about that night was Blue Meanie was there.
Right.
Blue Meanie was there, and he thumb wrestled, and they gave him one of those cheap plastic folding chairs. Mm-hmm. And as he was sitting down, everybody yelled, slowly or easy or something like that. And you, I think, maybe refereed the thumb wrestling, but I just definitely remember the thumb wrestling. And then the third thing, and that's all I remember from the night, was asking Leonard F. Chikar, misnaming Leonard F. Chikarson. I thought he was somebody I knew named Joe. And that Leonard looked at me and said, Joe, like you were aghast. You were like looking left and right, and you were like over the top gesturing. There's no Joe here.
Leonard Guy incognito.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'll never forget that. And that kind of like comes around to like I always had the sign up on my computer for call him whatever. First it was Leonard for years, and then when Leonard got hit by a bus, I had to put up remember to call him Joe on the computer. And that reminds me of when we went to Baltimore at the time and a bunch of fans yelled our name and they were walking over and you're walking like shoulder to shoulder with me and you do that whole talk out of the side of your mouth.
Yeah.
Remember, Todd, call me Leonard. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I would have called you Joe.
Listen, I was one of the last people to try to keep kayfabe alive, you know?
You and somebody I think called Steven. But anyway, but yeah, that's all I really remember.
So I got off the beaten track talking about Halloween and horror movies and shit like that. Did you do anything this weekend of note?
No, I just the Raiders had a bye, so I watched football, not getting angry.
Right.
Because I just watched my picks and then watched everything that we had to watch for the main show because I was behind this week for some reason.
Yeah, I got to jump on things only because, like, what was it? Somebody quote tweeted Dan Slott at, like, 8:30 in the morning on Thursday.
Oh, boy.
Of just being like, something. You should know it's a series finale of something. So, of course, spoilers are going to be everywhere. And I was talking about She-Hulk, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I better watch She-Hulk now before I get like button hooked like poor Dan Slott did, you know?
Yep. That's why I do it. I try to do it as fast as I can. That was the only one because it was the season finale that I was like, okay, let me watch. And I was actually up early, whatever day that comes out. So I was like, oh, okay, it's like I have 2 hours before I have to go to work and it's still dark. I'll watch this. And then like Andor and Stargirl, I was like, oh, that was literally like last night I was watching.
Right, I was watching Stargirl this morning over breakfast, you know?
Yeah. So
we started the process to close our pool this weekend.
Oh, boy. Did Asa take one last lap?
No. Okay. No. But so it's, as of this recording, it's still not fully closed yet. And so we've only been doing it since Friday. So we should have closed the pool earlier than we did. But we had like that one really nice weekend at the end of September.
Okay.
So we went swimming that weekend, right? And we should have closed the pool that weekend. We didn't. That's on us. Because like the next weekend, like the next day, it rained for like 8 days straight.
Right.
And then the weekend after that was Ace's birthday. And then the weekend after that was whatever, right? So it sat for another 2 weeks. So the whole pool was green, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to do the whole gimmick where, have you ever closed a pool?
Yep. You got to shocker it.
You got to give it the old Horace Pinker.
Right. The fat everything a bedazzled stormtrooper blast through the side of your pool.
Right. So I do that on Friday afternoon because you have to let it sit for 4 hours while the filter's running. Then you got to turn it off to let it settle for 12 hours. So it's like, okay, time we're doing this. If I hit it at 2 in the afternoon and then we hit it at 6, then we can come out early on Saturday and do whatever it is. So we go out on Saturday and we're getting everything prepped and we're like, oh, everything went down and so on and so forth, right? Mm-hmm. So like, all right, well, let's start vacuuming it, you know? And one of the hoses that we had, because like you have to while you're vacuuming it, you can't run it through the filter. You have to flush it, like bypass the filter, I guess.
Okay.
So the hose that we had was kind of flimsy, and I'm like, oh, there's a pool store down the road. I'll go get like a longer hose, a little bit more industrial or whatever it is. So I come back and set it all. We're all ready to go with it. And apparently I must have moved the thing off of waste, which is just flushing it to filter. Mm-hmm. And I turned it back on, and everything just recycled through the pool.
Oh, okay.
So we had to go through the whole shock process again. Mm-hmm. Oh. And then we had shit to do on Sunday where we had to be out early for Ace's Scouts. And then my two little nephews were in from Texas, and it was one of their birthdays. So we're like, all right, we got to be up there. So we had like a window from like 12 to 4 where we can start getting things done. But then the problem was, like, everything's down, everything's good. But because we were running the flush, the water was already low enough that it wasn't giving enough suction on the vacuum.
Okay.
So then we had to refill the pool back up.
Oh.
So that it was at a high enough level that we could finish doing the vacuuming. And we just finished the vacuuming today. We got the pool down low enough where it has to be below like the filter and all that sort of shit. And then we're going to let that sit. And then tomorrow morning before work, we're going to throw all the winterizing chemicals in, put the big float, and put the winter cover on, which is more than likely going to be like a me process. Because I'm just right here, and April's like, I got a half hour. We can get it done in a half hour. And I'm like, I don't think we're getting it done in a half hour. And then just the last bit of business that we need to do is actually, like, once the filter and everything's disconnected, is put it in the shed. But fingers crossed, Wednesday morning, the pool's going to be closed.
Right. And if you don't, there's some good weather this weekend, so.
No, I'm going to be gone all and that's the thing. I'm going to be gone all this weekend. Got LVAC on Friday. Got more Scout stuff on Saturday that we're going to be gone all day for. And then Sunday, hopefully maybe going to see Black Adam. I don't know.
There you go.
Maybe.
But, wow. So you're going to have an adventureful, like, weekend. So.
That's true.
And I'll be sitting around being a schlub. So.
You want to come down and help with the pool tomorrow morning?
Yeah, I'll be right over. I got nothing to do.
All right. Be here for 8.
Oh, okay. You want me to bring the bagels?
Whatever.
Right.
For April, she likes those.
I know she does. I forgot. I have to bring her some every time. Because last time I brought her half dozen, she was like, this is too many. So much carbs. Mm-hmm. So, but, yeah, Joe, I think that's everything. But could you hit that jingle for me?
Huh?
All heat, no heaters.
Joe. Oh,
God. What's going on here? This is invading the wrong show.
This is what you kids call a run-in, Joe. So I'm stealing it. I'm ladling your warmth. Listen, I'm hot, okay? So I don't collect a lot of figures. I have like.
Wait a minute. I don't mean to interrupt. I'm glad you're bringing this here, but don't you have a porch that you usually vent these things on?
Yeah, and he's part of the. Not the problem. He's involved in the problem.
You're going to say he was part of the fucking problem. You can say he's part of the fucking problem.
No, he's not, because he actually did me a solid. And this is where I feel bad. Okay. So I collect very few figures. I'm very like niche. If I want this, I want that. I like this character. But the Mirage Turtles, I was like, I wanted these figures for the longest time. They're finally coming out. Here's a couple I can order on Entertainment Earth or whatever. And they ended up putting out this one character in the recolored costume, and everybody's like, we want the blue one. So right off the bat, you're like, well, order the red one. So I ordered the red one, and then they're like, but we're doing the blue one. And I'm like, okay, I'll get the blue one too. But we're doing the blue one through Walmart. I'm like, okay, an exclusive, that sucks. It can happen. Like, I can maybe get it. But they're like, no, we're doing something different. We're starting a whole, like, club or something. It's called Auto T Vault out of Walmart, and NECA's involved. He's like, so we're doing this blue like figure that you want, and then black and white versions of like Shredder and one of the Foot Clan. I'm like, don't need the Foot Clan ones or the Shredder one, because I'm not going to do the black and white run. I want these. I'm like, well, when are they going on sale? Like, okay, you have to order them online. But they're also NFTs, which are not for Todd. So I'm like, are they real figures too? So I'd have somebody sit down and explain it to it. Adam had to explain it to me.
So explain it to me like I don't know what you're talking about and to the listeners.
Okay. So Walmart has this thing. They're like, you can buy this figure. But you could buy just the NFT of it, I guess, and or you can buy it and we'll keep it in our vault. You pay us and we won't send you the figure, which I don't understand how all that works. And then it was going off at a certain time. It's like, we're going to go live this day and we're not going to tell you what time. We're just, going to tweet it out.
Sometime during these 24 hours.
Right. Which was the time I was in New York Comic-Con. So I'm like, okay, I'm at the Javits. Will I have Wi-Fi? No. So like I was in the toy group and like Adam and or DJ were like, yeah, if we see it, let us know. So we'll try to get you one. I was like, okay, this hopefully should be easy. So at least did I explain it enough, like what you had to do? You had to like buy it through this online thing. Then you had to like say you wanted it. So early in the morning, I see the link and I put it in the group. I'm like, did I miss this? Because like I said, I was getting spotty things. Adam gets back to me. Yes, it went live about an hour ago. They sold out in 4 minutes. So I'm at the show and I go over to the NECA booth where they have one in the window. And I go, what's like, they're sold out. Are you going to get any more? And the guy's like, I'm the guy who does the social media. There's going to be more. We're putting it out in waves. Don't worry. You shouldn't have a problem getting one. And I'm like, okay, can I just smash the glass and take that one? He didn't want to let me smash the glass and take that one. He also had the Casey there, so I kind of wanted that one too. So I said, okay. So now I told Adam, I said, like, look for it, let me know. I tweeted I showed him the tweet of where they're going to announce when they go live again. And they do, and I miss it again, and Adam misses it again. But Adam saw something in the middle of the night because he wanted one of the Shredder ones. And he saw that they were in restock. However he saw it, doesn't really matter. So he went looking for the Shredder one. That was out of stock. So he went to the one that I wanted, and they had. So he bought it, knowing full well, I will reimburse him. That's not a problem. So now they're like it's easy. They're going to mail it to you, right, Joe? No.
I assume so.
Right. No, they're not going to mail it to you. Adam has to jump through these fucking hoops to create an account and say that he wants the figure. I don't want the NFT. I don't want you to store it in your vault. I want you to mail me the fucking figure. And I guess as they do it, like they asked you like 3 times, like, are you sure you don't want to give us your money and us not give you anything? Right. So they're like, okay, we'll send you the code. And within 24 hours or 48 hours, you redeem that code on the thing that the profile you've created on our website, not Walmart now, I guess. So he does that. They never send him the code. So he's waiting. He's like, all right, they said, within 24 or 48 hours, he waited the time. So now he goes to customer service and he says, I don't know which one now, but we'll get there. So he goes to one of them and he says, Walmart maybe. He's like, hey, I never got my code, blah, blah, blah. Sir, would you please check your spam folder? Maybe it's in there. We've had problems with that. He's like, checked it. It's not there, blah, blah. I'm sure, because he's screen capping these and sending them to me. I'm sure we can fix this. We'll resend you the code within 24 or 48 hours. All right, so that doesn't happen again, I guess. If I got this mixed up a little bit, but it's the gist of it. It doesn't happen. So now he tells me at one point, so I went to Auto T Vault and I went to Walmart, and they're each telling me, that's not our fault. Go to the other person. Right. So now he's still like, well, I don't know if there's time left on the 48 hours or whatever, if he gets it. And he's like, well, can I get a refund? They're like, sure. If you want a refund, you can have one. We'll get around to it. He still hasn't had whatever he paid with, the PayPal or whatever. He hasn't gotten the money back or the code. So I'm like, are they going to give him his money back? Like, I'm going to stand by the $40-some. Like because I don't care. If he gets fucked on $40, I'll give it to him. But I'm like, I hope he gets it back, or I hope he gets this code. And I'm like, so this isn't maddening enough. Then I wake up this morning and they're selling in random Walmarts, they say, at these kiosks, which the kiosks are just fucking the collector section of Walmart. They have
Where's the collector section?
By not in the toy section.
Oh, is it in the video game section or something?
Yes, over by the TVs. Like, you'll see the pop, you'll see the NECA figures, you'll see whatever there. There's always like the higher end like figures and stuff like that.
Oh, that's where they put the Funko Pops and shit too now.
Yes. So that's where they're supposed to be. See, they were saying, then the Twitter that I was following was saying there's going to be a kiosk at the thing where you can order them. So people thought there was going to be like an electronic thing or somebody you talk to, but now they just have these plastic things hanging on pegs that say these are for the figures, buy them. Now I'm like, are they for the NFTs or are they for the actual figures? Are the codes inside them? I'm like, you've made this as fucking hard as possible to get this one figure that I want, and it's like the color version that I want. And then there's going to be other figures in this line, whether or not they're all Mirage. They're like, collect all 31.
Ugh.
And I'm like, okay, is it going to be just Turtles figures, or is this Auto Vault thing also going to do? They have Predator and whatever. But I'm like, if these are all like Mirage figures, Joe, you know how excited I was for these Mirage figures. They've broken me.
Okay.
Like, and I only have 2 figures bought off them so far. I need to take a breath. I'm sorry.
So, they say you say that they have broken you, but does this mean that you are done and are not going to pursue the rest of these?
I'm going to go the zombie sailor route, and we'll see. We'll see if there's any Ravens or Jeff Jarrett's. We'll see. Let's just say I'm going to buy whatever I could just freely buy off Entertainment Earth. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I think these versions are going, like, so far I've seen the Auto T Vault R. Here's the properly, colored blue Rennet. Here's a Casey Jones in the more popular red t-shirt instead of the white that you can get main. And then they're doing a chrome instead of a painted gray flat Fugitoid. It's going to actually be chrome. And I'm like, I don't need variants of certain figures. If they're important to me, like, I won't get the Fugitoid. Will I try to get the red shirted Casey? Yes, because it's Casey.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I absolutely know what you mean.
It's going to be a Casey by Casey, thing, but we'll see as they roll out. But I'm going to try and stay away from them because I don't need them.
Yeah, I mentioned the Funkos being in that weird section at Walmart now. And I know Adam had mentioned a couple months ago that they were doing this gimmick where, like, you're buying an NFT of the Funko Pop.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't clear if it was like, okay, you buy the NFT for one price, and then for another price, you're buying the NFT, and they're actually going to send you a physical thing.
Right.
Where it sounds like for some reason, these people that are doing these NECA figures are following that same, like, confusing model, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm completely confused, other than I know you can get the figure physically from the website. You can choose it if they send you the code. What these little, like, sealed flimsy plastics are, I don't know if the code actually gets you the actual figure, because they will never answer anything back on the social media. They're just like, here's like, and then because I put it in a little toy group, they're like, what an outstanding success this whole thing has been. And then here's all these people like, I lost my code. I don't know what's going on. You canceled like half the orders that people put in. You haven't put any figures in people's hands. How about pumping the fucking brakes on calling it an overwhelming success?
Well, again, I was going to say, this will be 2 weeks in a row that I've said it on one of these shows. Is this the line for the codes for the, is this the line for the figures, or is this the line for the codes to get the figures?
Oh my God.
And then social media tells you, what for.
Yep. Oh, my blood pressure's up, Joe.
Well, Todd, I think let's not scratch that itch any further. It's not like you got news that a week from this recording, you're going to find out if the only figure in this upcoming set that they've pushed the pre-order back 2 months on, if the only one figure is going to be the one that gets pulled because of the goddamn cloth goods that it has.
Oh, I saw that and I was like, ugh. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
But will it deter you?
Talk to me.
Talk
next
future,
Tuesday.
Joe. Right.
Talk to me next Tuesday. We'll see.
Okay.
All right. So, hey, everybody. Thank you very much for listening to Doll Safarian or Toy Talk or whatever the hell this was.
Todd's Toy Talk.
Todd's Toy Talk. Longbox Heroes After Dark, episode 414. TeePublic Store, patreon.com/Longbox Heroes, Amazon affiliate link, banner at longboxheroes.com in the show notes for wherever you get these episodes. And see y'all here next week.